recording, but I'm gonna move forward with it anyway. For some reason, when I was recording it on my phone, the phone stopped recording. So I'm still driving, and we're gonna record it on this here iPad and see if we can get the full thing out and finished so that I can then upload it. So, as I was saying, phone is not being cooperative. But as I was saying, about the age of 8 or 9, I began to grow hair in my armpits. Now, I wasn't growing hair anywhere else that is indicative of moving into adolescence, but I did start to grow hair there. And even though it was never stated specifically, I could tell by the way that my mother reacted that my body wasn't supposed to be doing that. You know, it was a problem. It was not good that my body was growing hair there. And so she taught me how to use Nair. That was what she used to remove her body hair, and so she taught me how to use it on my underarms. And we would usually do it together, but I had been taught how to use it, so anytime the hair grew, I was supposed to be using Nair to get rid of it. And I knew the sentiment around it was, you know, it was a secret, not necessarily anything to talk about, not necessarily anything to let anybody see. So there's a two-part reality to that. And the first thing is that being in this kind of body, you're not allowed to have hair under your arms once it begins to grow there. If you have hair under your arms, it's considered unclean, or at the very least unkempt, to the point where it's looked upon as distasteful, even though the hair grows there on its own. So that's the first part of that type of kind of shamey, weird feeling around that. The second part is that, you know, I was too young to be growing hair under my arms. And so the shame of having hair under your arms as a woman was the first part. And the second part was having hair under your arms as a little girl. Problematic, right? So we would try to keep it gone, completely gone, as often as possible. However, I was only 8 or 9, and sometimes I wouldn't keep up with it, so sometimes the hair would grow. And also, as I was saying in the earlier video, my focus at 8 or 9 was racing. I love to run, and was riding my dirt bike. Those were the two things that I love to do. And so I was learning how to pop wheelies and go over ramps, and I was, you know, making sure I remained the fastest person in the neighborhood. So that was what I was focused on. That was what my mind was, that was where my mind was. So I remember one day I was at my cousin's house. So she was an elder cousin, so around the age of my grandmother. And I was showing her my grades on my report card. I always did very well in school. I always have been an intellectual and loved intellectual pursuits. So I was showing her my grades on my report card, and she was happy. She was complimenting me on what good grades I had made. And I remember her complimenting me on that, and, you know, just telling me how good it was. And in addition to that, from the time that I was about 7, I had worn bangs. My mother had cut bangs on my head. I know I got a big forehead. But I had always worn bangs, so I usually wore my hair in two ponytails with bangs. But on this particular day, my mother had put my hair up in like a top knot. It was actually in a ponytail on the top that was she kind of put it in like a bun, a little bun on the top. And I didn't usually wear my hair like that. And this memory is so vivid in my mind that I remember the aspects of the conversation, right? But anyway, she was like, and that hairstyle is becoming to you, so becoming. And I felt good. You know, this was one of my elder relatives, somebody that I wanted to make proud, and somebody who was usually very proud of me. And so I was getting my report card or whatever else I had brought to her house. She lived across the street from my grandmother, and my grandmother was who I would stay with when my mother was at work. And so I was getting my stuff, and something happened. Of course, I moved my arm, and she saw the hair under my arms. And she was like, oh, I could see her face drop. You got hair under your arms? And I was like, yeah. And I looked up, you know, scared, because I knew nobody was supposed to see it. I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. I knew that, you know, I had fallen back on my nail routine, like everything. I knew all of these things, you know, were not supposed to be happening. It was wrong. And she said, oh, you fast with the boys, huh? And I had no idea what that meant. So I said, yeah, I guess. And, you know, she had a look on her face of displeasure, but I didn't know what else to say. I didn't know what fast with the boys meant. And, I said, okay, this person is older than me. I guess I thought maybe they knew what made hair grow under your arms when you were too young. And maybe this was what that was. So, I agreed. I got my stuff and I went home. Later on, as I got older, I gained a better understanding of what this term fast meant. And the way we say it where I'm from is F-A-S-S. How she fast. And I was like, oh no, I told her yes to that, and I'm not. So I used to wonder as a child, should I go back and tell her no? You know, and being fast as a little girl growing up, it did not seem to be something that you had control over. And what I mean by that is the people who were called fast were not people who were consciously doing something. They were not seeking out male attention, but male attention was on them. And because male attention was on them, they were fast. So, as a little girl, you weren't sure whether or not you were fast, because you knew that your other friends who were being called fast wasn't doing nothing. They wasn't doing nothing. They weren't initiating anything. So if somebody called you fast, you didn't know whether you was or not. It was a label that was put on you from the outside. It had nothing to do with you or what you thought or what you felt or what you were doing. Right? So, there was that. I remember that incident. And for me, I acknowledge that this incident is not as harsh as what happened to some of my friends. Not as cruel as what I saw some of my other, friends be subjected to. But I remember the moment, right? And so I want to say that a body has hormones. A body has hormones, y'all. I don't know how else to put that. I don't know what else to say about that. And the hormones guide the growth and development of the body. That is how bodies work. And so, when a little girl's body begins to develop, it's not something